What up, y'all? Welcome back to the review space. Today I am going to do a review on not just NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2, but also WWE SummerSlam 2016. Back-to-back wrestling events. This is review space actually doing an actual wrestling review. I haven't done this in a long ass time. It's been quite a few years since I reviewed any WWE programming. I can't even remember the last time, maybe like late 2012, something like that. I've kept up with wrestling, at least in the past like year and a half. You know, I know that maybe a couple of years ago I was like, I'm too old for this shit. But the thing is, they bring in these new characters, they got these new storylines, they got these new angles, they bring in the stars from overseas, and my interest, I just cannot stay away from wrestling like for too long. You know, maybe I'll stay away from it for a while, for a few months, maybe even a year or a couple of years. But no matter how much I try, they pull me back in. So anyway, let's start it off with NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2, Part 2, which took place on August 20th, 2016, just a couple of days ago at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York City. And you know what I liked about this particular event was the size of it. It was a massive attendance. Over 15,670 people showed up, at least according to the official attendance. You know, I don't know if they exaggerated. You know, I have no idea, but it certainly looked like a sizable, massive crowd. 15,000 people. Amazing. As far as the theme song, the theme music that they had Giant by Banks and Steels, which is, you got the RZA and some other singer guy who kind of reminds me of Sting. Not the face-painted Sting, but, you know, the singer Sting. I like that song, Giant. I actually ended up downloading it. Serpents by Neck Deep, which also sounds like a pretty cool rock song. And then Relentless of Mice and Men, which also is a pretty decent song. So, very cool theme music between the New York Brooklyn Takeover Part 2. But as far as, like, you know, comparing it to the SummerSlam 2016 theme songs, it's better, you know what I mean? The Takeover Brooklyn had better theme music, which is like an overall, that sets the frickin' tone. That set the tone for this particular comparison. Because if you watch all of Brooklyn Part 2, or the majority of it, and compare it to SummerSlam 2016, I'm going to say it off right now. NXT Takeover Brooklyn Part 2 was a better show. It had a better theme song. It even looked cooler. It looked better. I don't know, for some reason, I don't know, just the layout, you know what I'm saying, the presentation, the crowd was really hyped up, and the matches delivered. They really delivered. For the most part, I really enjoyed this particular, not even a pay-per-view, I guess it's a special event now. It's just called a special event. You know, a network special event, whatever the hell it is. I guess they don't have pay-per-views anymore. Now, let's get to the matches. Brooklyn Part 2, we started it off with No Way Jose against Austin Aries. No Way Jose. Kind of catchy. That's probably the biggest pop that No Way ever got in his entire run in NXT so far. It was a good pop. You know, he came out, it felt like a star, felt like a big deal, especially with that conga line that came out. I have no idea if those people were actual members of the WWE universe, you know, the actual fans in the attendance, or it was just like hired people from the back. You know, like basically they were part of the work. They were they were employed by WWE. I have no clue. So it did look exciting. You know, what a way to kick off this particular event. What an entrance. Austin Aries, of course, great wrestler, my favorite TNA wrestler for years and years and years. You know, I thought he had like the best matches in TNA with guys like Bully Ray, you know, and those kind of guys, Bobby Roode. It was just awesome stuff with Austin Aries back in the day. But this was a pretty decent match. They went over 10 minutes here. Not bad, you know, not a bad match, not the greatest match or anything like that, but and they gave, you know, No Way Jose some pretty good like spots. You actually felt sympathy for him, and for the most part, everybody was behind Austin Aries because he was the more recognizable star. And you got the huge smart mark crowd, you got the people that are the internet fans in the audience, and they really respect Austin Aries, not just because of his run in TNA, but he was also in Ring of Honor. I remember him back in ROH 7 years ago, when he was the ROH champion. And back then, he was like the only 2-time Ring of Honor champion. Great heel character, and he really he's come a long way. It's incredible that he's wrestling in NXT. I think he took the win here. Austin Aries defeated No Way Jose via submission. I'm pretty sure he locked in that. Well, what is it? What do you call it? What is his finishing move called? I always forget the name. It's not the cattle mutilator, because I think that was Daniel Bryan's move. His move is the... I'm forgetting. I'm sorry, guys. I don't remember every single hold and move, especially Austin Aries. I love Austin Aries, but let me just look it up right now. I feel like a fucking... No, I love Austin Aries. It's just I don't remember the name of his fucking finisher. It's a submission move. The Last Chancery. There you go. And the Horns of Aries. There's like different names for it. The Last Chancery. I always thought that was a stupid name. Chancery, the Last Chancery. Like, what the hell does that mean? Chancery. Call it like the neck bender or something like that. You know what I mean? The neck twister, or the neck, not the neck breaker, but like you know what I mean. The bridging neck violator. I don't know. But good win for Austin Aries. I was kind of hoping that No Way Jose would actually take the win here, because it would be unexpected. And I understand Austin Aries, he kind of needs a big win, and just to kind of establish that this guy is going to be a top prospect for NXT. But at the same time, I kind of feel like No Way was just kind of jobbed out here. He was just kind of like dismissed as some, like he's second rate compared to Austin Aries. So I hope they keep feuding continuously, but considering that they got Hideo Itami coming out at that final moment after this match, giving Austin Aries the go to sleep, the GTS, the move that Hideo Itami / Kenta innovated way back when, before CM Punk started using it in WWE. That was an awesome moment to see. I mean, it's about goddamn time that they finally let him start doing it on live television, and finally we get to see it. I felt so bad though for Hideo Itami. I'm just like, poor Hideo, you know what I mean? He's been out for over a year. He missed out on opportunity after opportunity, these fucking chances he could have had to become champion and to have great matches in NXT. He's been injured. He's got that fucked up scar on his shoulder, so he's just lost a lot of opportunity, I think. And it felt like his time has come. His chances have come and gone, because he doesn't even feel like he's 100%. Even that GTS looked kind of iffy, and even just leading up to that particular moment when he confronted Austin Aries, and they had that little sequence of events, when before he starts punching him, he kind of, looked like he's about to. It was almost like a botch. Like he was about to throw him out of the ring, but not really. Austin Aries, there was like an awkward moment there where he kind of paused a little bit, and it just feels like Hideo Itami is not gonna get that big chance, that big moment. He's not gonna make it to the main roster, and even if he does, eventually, it feels like he's just not gonna do much in his career, because again, his age, his injuries, and even with the GTS, it just feels like, oh man. Missed opportunity. But I would like to see an Austin Aries against Hideo feud. I think it's going to be a decent match. I'm expecting Austin Aries to go over in that one, but you just never know. Alright, match number 2. Ember Moon going up against Billie Kay. Billie Kay looking weird to me. She looks good. She's got these long legs, right? She's got the brunette, black hair. She got the blue outfit with the long cape-like, I don't even know what gown or sequined thing that she has. looks very sexy, but also at the same time just kind of awkward looking. I don't know what it is. Like maybe it's her face kind of reminds me of. It looks like she's wincing all the time. You know, just her facial expression looks like she's wincing all the time. And again, she's not as sexy as they try to make her out to be. You know, even her, her theme music and is kind of a generic kind of, just a Divas theme song. It reminds me of Divas theme music from like the mid 2000s. It didn't really. I don't know. She stands out, but maybe not in the right way. She reminds me of like. She's like. I don't know what it is about Billie Kay. Maybe she needs a different gimmick. Now, she went up against Ember Moon. Ember frickin' Moon. Now, I didn't know who this person was when they started previewing, doing the little vignettes several weeks ago, when they were previewing her, and, Ember Moon, and they had the graphic and everything with the moon. I didn't know who it was, didn't know what she looked like physically. And then when she came out, and then she had the mask on, she almost looked like a Mortal Kombat character, like a Melina or Kitana or somebody like that. She had the mask on covering her face. She took it off, and she removed her hoodie, and I was like, oh shit, I've seen that girl before. She looked familiar, and it's like, oh shit, it's that girl from Booker T's promotion in Texas. Because thankfully I was able to watch Booker T's promotion. I think it's like Reality of Wrestling or something like that. I ended up watching that maybe a couple of months ago, and I recognized her because she was a part of that show. So I was like, oh, okay, that is definitely a Booker T prospect. I was like, so that's cool. And she was very impressive here. I liked Ember Moon's moves. She was very athletic, very agile. Definitely played the high flyer role. She's not as tall as Billie Kay. Billie Kay is the taller one, the towering character over Ember Moon. But Ember Moon was kind of impressive. I liked her finishing move. I don't even know what she calls it. It's kind of like a diving, twisting stunner. So they need to give that a cool name to suit her gimmick. Like the Moonlit neck stunner or something like that, or the full moon stun. I don't know, the full moon stunner, some shit like that. I thought Ember Moon looked good, and she definitely got. In my opinion, Asuka is unstoppable right now. The way that they're booking her, Asuka is like the top female NXT female wrestler, and I feel like Ember Moon is going to be the next female champion. She's going to be the one who is going to take the title away from Asuka and defeat Asuka, because Ember Moon, they found the right one with Ember Moon. As long as she doesn't get injured or anything like that, and all goes according to plan, I think Ember Moon will be the next NXT Women's Champion to defeat Asuka somewhere down the road. Okay, number 3, Bobby Roode defeating Andrade Almas, or Cien Andrade Almas. What an entrance, first of all, from fucking Bobby Roode, man. That was glorious for real. I mean, his theme song is catchy, it's epic. I love Queen, I love their sound, I love their style. Glorious! Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Great stuff. And they went over 10 minutes here with this particular match. Andrade actually showed some personality. They gave him some like cool moments here where he's, he would be thrown into the ropes, but he would like catch himself in between the ropes and just laugh at Bobby Roode and be like, ha ha ha, look at me, almost playing like a trickster character, like I would imagine he'd be like Nightcrawler from the X-Men series, just kind of laughing at your face, kind of wily, that kind of character where he's like, haha, you think you got me, but you didn't, bitch. But his gimmick sucks. Well, I don't even know what the fuck his gimmick is. He's got a hat, or a top hat, he's got that shitty fucking overall, I don't even know what the fuck I have no idea. Terrible outfit, you know what I mean? He looks horrible, when he comes out with that shitty outfit that he has on. He feels like a jobber to me, Andrade Almas. He's a handsome dude, you know what I mean? He's a good-looking guy. I know they're searching for a Hispanic star, a Latino star and everything. So why not give this guy a good gimmick? A gimmick that's actually cool instead of this shitty fucking crappy gimmick that seems so outdated. You know, this is like an 80s gimmick that doesn't even work at this day and age. You know, you give him a real gimmick where he plays a cool character, or he plays like a more relatable person. You know, he needs a makeover for sure, but the talent is there. You know, I hope that he finds the right niche, and I hope he gets a better gimmick than this fucking crap that he's been given with. He's been packaged with. And you got Bobby Roode. It was an okay, you know, again, it was a decent match, not a bad match. Bobby Roode pretty much like came out looking like a big star because the whole crowd was pretty much behind Bobby Roode. You know, he was the recognizable star, kind of similar to the Austin Aries No Way Jose match. Most people, you know, the smart marks cared more about the Bobby Roode. They cared more about, and not just because of the entrance, but they like Bobby Roode. They respect him. He's a proven main eventer. I would expect Bobby Roode to become the next NXT champion, the one who takes it from Shinsuke Nakamura, because who else right now would you give it to? You know, as of right now, I would give it to Bobby Roode as the next champion, as a future NXT champion. When Shinsuke Nakamura is finished with his reign, then Bobby Roode would be there to take it. So I could see Bobby Roode carrying NXT for the next year and a half or something like that. He is up there in age, though. You know what I mean? His fucking age that's the problem. The guy is probably near his 40s right now, if not getting close to there. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many years this guy has left, but it's better than nothing. You know, I'd rather have him in NXT than in TNA or something like that. But I would rather actually see him on the main roster on Raw or SmackDown. You know, to see him actually be at the main show instead of NXT. But what are you gonna do? Match number 4. The Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, defending their title, the NXT Tag Team Championships, against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. This one almost 20 minutes with this particular tag team match. Easily the match of the night. Most enjoyable match of the night. Best match probably of the entire weekend. Well, at least the top two. Because, well, we're going to get to the SummerSlam a little bit later. But the Revival definitely had a great, tremendous match. They were very crisp. I love their style. Very hard-hitting. Very traditional wrestling. Traditional American wrestling. Reminds me of something like a four horsemen type of presentation. Just with their crisp delivery, their moves, their technical ability. They're very good. And I hope one day that they do make it to the main roster. You got Gargano and Ciampa also delivering great technical abilities. A lot of great spots, a lot of unique moves, a lot of just unique moments in a tag team kind of way. There's great chemistry between these four. Very enjoyable. This is what tag team wrestling should look like and what it should be on the main fucking roster. This puts the fucking main roster tag scene to shame. The NXT tag team titles are way more prestigious in my opinion. Way better looking, even by design. And they had a great match. I was very much into it. The whole fucking 20 minutes of it, I was totally into it. Aside from maybe that moment where the referee counted to 3, but then it really wasn't because the guy had his leg on the fucking rope, and then there was the ending and the finish, and then you know what I mean. So the referee, in my opinion, kind of ruined that moment, even though it's part of the storyline, it's part of the presentation. I've never really seen that. It's a fucking 3. He counted to fucking 3. 1, 2, 3, and then he's gonna nullify it right away. Like that felt so. It destroyed the momentum a little bit, but it still was a very good match. The best of the night for sure. Match number 5. Asuka, the champion, the NXT Women's Champion, going up against Billie. This was predictable. Asuka retaining the championship. It doesn't make much sense to give it back to Billie because, I mean, what the fuck? I think she won it last year on the same fucking, like, the same environment, the same fucking event, Takeover Brooklyn, against Sasha Banks. But this time she's the challenger, trying to become a 2-time champion. It's just not going to happen because it feels like Bayley's already on her way to the main roster anyway. They went 14 minutes with this particular match. Asuka ends up retaining it, and I think the best part about this whole thing was the entrances. I like the entrances the best. I didn't really even care much for this match itself because it was predictable. I knew what was going to happen pretty much. I knew the outcome, so I wasn't really surprised with it. It didn't wow me that much. It wasn't as good as the tag team match. And again, the entrances were the best part in my opinion. Match number 6, Shinsuke Nakamura finally defeating Samoa Joe and becoming the NXT champion. They went over 20 minutes with this particular match. Shinsuke Nakamura is the new NXT champion. He is really, really good, but here's my problem with Shinsuke and many of the Japanese wrestlers, including Asuka, Hideo, and everybody else. And even back in the early, in the late 90s and early 2000s, guys like Taka Michinoku and Funaki and Tajiri and all these other Japanese imports, they don't speak English that well. A lot, some of them might be able to speak a few words pretty alright, but it feels like they just can't learn how to properly enunciate English because they never grew up in the West, in an English-speaking country. They never grew up in America or in Canada or any of these areas where they can actually have a full-blown conversation and talk like, Asian Americans, Asians that grew up in the West, in English-speaking countries. So it takes away, I think, from their value as wrestlers in the WWE, because I've always been a promo guy. I've always liked the promo aspects. A guy who can cut a good promo and a guy who can cut a compelling microphone skill, whatever you want to call it, mic skills, promo skills, on the stick, on the mic. And I feel like a lot of these Japanese wrestlers, they don't have that ability. Even if they can cut a good promo in Japanese, that's different. Somebody like who's that guy from the mid-90s that Chris Jericho used to work for, Otani, I think. Otani was really good. He cut great promos in Japanese. But I think in order to connect with the large majority of the crowd, you got to be able to speak English. That's a big thing with me because that is what it makes you even more humanized. It makes you even more relatable. It makes you sound relatable. You are speaking the same language as the fucking crowd, as the majority of the demographic. Why do you think Kenny Omega is getting really over in fucking Japan? Because he can speak Japanese and he speaks it pretty good. He's studying, and you can tell he fucking studies that shit. He takes his fucking time. He's learning the language, and he can enunciate and speak Japanese, and it sounds really good. It sounds like he's at least trying. But with the Japanese wrestlers that come over to WWE, when they can barely speak a few words, and they can only have a few, certain words that they would say properly, but it's hard for them, they struggle with it. They struggle with speaking the language. It's hard to connect with that. It's hard to connect with somebody like that because, again, they got that really thick accent. They can only speak a few words. You have to be able to speak English correctly, in my opinion, to be a full-fledged, complete superstar. A complete wrestling top star. And if you don't fucking believe me, you take a look at people like The Rock, Ric Flair, CM Punk, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, all the great talkers we've seen over the fucking decades, over the past generations. And they were able to connect with the audience, and they were the top stars of their time. You can argue that maybe somebody like Bret Hart wasn't great on the mic. But even back in 97, he was cutting some pretty good promos and really solid mic work back in 97 when he started to get better and get better on the mic. And he was born and raised, he was raised in Canada, so he was a natural English speaker anyway. So, anyway, we're over 20 minutes with this Brooklyn. Brooklyn Part 2 was really good. I enjoyed it. Maybe not the best takeover ever, but it was solid. I have yet to see a fucking shitty NXT Takeover. So this was a pretty good show. Here we go with SummerSlam. SummerSlam took place on August 21st, 2016. Over 15,970 people attended, so just a little bit over NXT Brooklyn Part 2 in terms of attendance, just a few hundred more, but it's pretty damn close, I don't know how, the turnover, I don't know how many people that attended Brooklyn Part 2 also attended SummerSlam 2016, but I have absolutely no idea, but, it's, the crowd felt a little bit different, a little bit more mixed this time, where you have more of the casual audience and the more like sports entertainment type fans coming in, whereas with the NXT Brooklyn Part 2, it's more of a fucking like smart mark crowd. Smarty Mark. Here we go. I'm not gonna talk about the fucking pre-match, pre-match type show, because I never watched the pre-match, pre-show, whatever, the pre-show fucking event. I don't give a fuck about it, you know what I mean? It's not a part of the main show anyway, so fuck it, forget about it. Let's begin with Jerry KO. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens going up against Enzo Amore and Big Cass. This was an okay match. It really wasn't anything special. I didn't even have that much invested in it, and I'm actually kind of tired of Enzo Amore and Big Cass on the mic. When they cut a promo, they're really good on the mic, but especially like on this night, they used song references. They quoted Biggie and all these other, New York, Empire State of Mind and Jay-Z and all that, and even I think Frank Sinatra, maybe a little bit of Frank Sinatra in there. A lot of New York, Brooklyn singer type references in there, but I'm just getting tired of the same old like shtick. They come out, they cut these promos, and they're good on the mic. They were great at first, I was really into them at first, but now it's like, whatever, I know what they're gonna say. We got the internet nowadays. This is not the late 90s, early 2000s anymore, where every fucking week it was exciting. When The Rock came out, he said the same catchphrases every week. The New Age Outlaws, they said the same catchphrases every time. DX, they would say the same catchphrases every week back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now it's 2016, we got the internet, so we always rewatch them on the internet anyway, so we get to see these fucking promos over and over again. So maybe once a month or something like that. I got one word to describe you. S-A-W. It's very repetitive, We've heard it a million times, so it gets kind of tired. I think they can have more fucking catchphrases than just soft and my name is Enzo Amore and I'm a certified G, the same old thing. They could switch it up a little bit and make it sound more interesting. Say something else than just that, Say some other catchphrases. You can have more than just the same ones that say something else. Anyway, the match, who the fuck won? Oh yeah, Jerry KO ended up winning that one, so it's not a big deal to me. Like that little fucking code breaker thing where Kevin Owens, he hoisted fucking I think it was Enzo, he lifted him up almost like he's gonna do the power bomb what do you call it, the prop up power bomb move that he has, but then he fucking fell. Enzo Amore fell on Chris Jericho's codebreaker move. It didn't even look like he hit it. It looked really sloppy. It looked like he missed most of it. But I wasn't really surprised with the outcome of this one. Really wasn't invested in this particular match. So it was a nothing match to me. Charlotte going up against Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks defending her fucking Women's Championship, and Dana Brooke is not in this particular. She's banned from ringside, so she's barred. She's banned. There's no presence of Dana Brooke. I kind of like Dana Brooke too. She's kind of sexy in an athletic kind of way. And one of these days, I'm sure Dana Brooke is going to be the Women's Champion, the WWE Women's Champion in the future. But as far as Sasha Banks, man, this was fucked up. They had a good match at the beginning, and maybe like midway through, and then Sasha Banks ended up falling. She ended up, I don't know if that was a fucking botch that was supposed to happen, but she fell from like the top rope. Looked like Charlotte was about to deliver some kind of, almost like a fucking, a side slam or something like that to Sasha Banks. I don't know what she was going for, but Sasha Banks fell right on her fucking shoulder or neck, and it looks like she hit her back on the rope, and she was selling it the whole time, and it made me think like she was actually legitimately injured. She was actually legitimately, hurting. And you could even tell just after she took that bump, she was moving a little bit more slowly, more gingerly. She was taking her time a little bit, more slowed down, as if she was actually like hurt, like she was fucked up. So I felt bad for her, and hopefully it's not a serious injury, but you just never know. So, her style, wrestling the way that she does, and all the high-risk maneuvers that she does, Sasha Banks is great, but I don't think she's going to last very long, because she's going to end up suffering injury after injury if she keeps taking these fucking high risks. She's not going to last very long. These fucking women, they're not built to withstand these amazing fucking high-risk moves. Some of the guys might be able to because, somebody like a Brock Lesnar, when he did that fucking shooting star press on, I think it was Kurt Angle back at WrestleMania, he was able to survive that. But some of these girls, they might be really, really athletic, but, they tend to be a bit more, I would imagine some of these girls are just a little bit more prone to injury because, they're not built as strong as somebody like a Brock Lesnar, somebody with tons of muscle and huge mass where, they don't fucking, they can still withstand a little bit of injury. But, if you don't believe me and you think, oh, well, you're just picking on the women, look at somebody like Candice Michelle. Candice Michelle, how many times was she fucking injured, and to the point that she ended up ultimately retiring. Somebody like her, and Ak Yasukawa from Japan, when she was fucked up. She was injured to the point that she had to fucking retire. So some of these girls, the stuff that the risks that they take, and even somebody like Lita from back in the fucking, ruthless aggression era, early mid-2000s, and the fucking risks that she took. Her falling through the ropes, the dives that she would take against Trish Stratus, they were so fucking risky. She would land on her fucking neck. She'd be taken out for months. She'd get injured and she'd be out. So, these women are not built like dudes. They're not built like these big, tough guys. They're these smaller framed individuals. So, I would imagine they're just not as, they don't have the longevity of the men in terms of, taking these injuries. As far as Charlotte being the new champion, a two-time women's champion now, she deserves it, I think. She's a great heel character, and it's unfortunate what happened to Sasha. I would love for Sasha to become the champion for like the next year, but Charlotte is pretty good too, so let her be the fucking champion. I'm sure one day they're gonna face each other again, or maybe she's gonna face off against Nikki Bella or some other diva that, came back. So, it is what it is. Charlotte is a good heel, so let her run with it some more. The Miz going up against Apollo Crews for the IC Championship. The Miz retaining the title. Maurice was the best part of this whole fucking thing. How hot is fucking Maurice, man? Maurice was my favorite diva for a long time. When she was wrestling, when she was actually competing in the Divas division many years ago, maybe like 5-6 years ago, something like that. She was so hot. She was smoking hot. Blonde, platinum blonde or whatever. And fine as hell. You got the French accent, not French, but like French-Canadian accent, I guess. Francophone accent. She's a little bit different because now she's with The Miz, and she's a valet now, and she's a little bit older too. You can just, look at her face, and she looks a little bit older, She looks like she's aged a little bit, but she still looks fine as hell. Looking fucking beautiful. When she came out with that fucking outfit, and it looked almost like an aviator outfit with the fucking hat and her clothing, something like a Lady Gaga would wear clothes like that back in like 2008. She looked so fucking hot. I was so mad when she took off the hat right away. I was like, put the hat back on, man. Fucking keep it on, bitch. She looked so fucking good. Oh my god, I love that look. Not much of a match. It was alright. Apollo Crews, very athletic, of course. Very, he was flipping all over the place, but The Miz came out on top, the smarter veteran, I guess, and, I don't know who can take it from Miz. I don't know who's going to beat him for the IC Championship. I don't know if it's going to be Apollo Crews or somebody else, but this match wasn't really amazing, but it is what it is. It kept the fucking Miz momentum going. AJ Styles against John Cena. 23 minutes. Fucking awesome match. Match of the night. And probably the best match of the entire weekend. I gotta probably give it to Cena and AJ Styles. Great fucking storytelling. Great psychology. Great fucking spots. Awesome spots. Great counters. I don't know how much more I can praise this particular match. This was back and forth action between these two. Very competitive. I was invested in this. I watched this whole fucking thing. I was really into this match. The whole crowd was also into it. And that shows you that AJ Styles is not just some fucking like shitty, what do you call it? An indie internet darling. He's the full package. You got the fucking half the crowd going AJ Styles, half the crowd going John Cena. Or Let's Go Cena. Let's go Cena, AJ Styles. Let's go Cena, AJ Styles. Most of the time, it's Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. And Cena would go on, when he would do a shoot interview and he'd talk about how, well, if the crowd is chanting, Let's go Cena, Cena sucks, shouldn't you be mad that the crowd is chanting, my name and not you, that the attention is focused on Cena the whole time, and his opponent, most of the time, is fucking ignored. They don't even chant the guy's name. AJ Styles gets fucking chanted. AJ Styles is an actual fucking star. People care about this guy. So I can definitely see him being the champion someday, WWE champion on SmackDown. I mean, one of these days, I'm sure he probably will most likely be a fucking champion, and I think he deserves it. He's fucking talented as hell, and he's old too. He's up there in age. He's not old, but he's up there in his fucking age. He's not a young 20-something rookie. He's a veteran. So you only have a few years left with this guy, in his prime years. So you better use him now. Okay, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. We're gonna fast forward through this because I feel like I've been rambling for like fucking 50 minutes or something. 37 minutes. Gallows and Anderson defeating the New Day. And then you got the Jon Stewart stuff. Yeah, I found Jon Stewart kind of annoying here. He didn't do much here. He didn't do anything for this particular thing. I just felt like he was a distraction. Jon Stewart, he had that funny comedy show and everything on, The Daily Show. That was great, but, Jon Stewart, I just don't give a fuck about him. Like, why is he even here? He's a fan, or he's a celebrity, so what? Like, I don't want to see him in the ring. I don't care about this dude, man. He's an old man, he looks frail, he doesn't look athletic, you know what I mean? Like, seeing that guy from Arrow, whatever his name was, Stephen Amell, I remember him, he was pretty athletic, so I could let that slide, I could let that fucking slide, but with Jon Stewart, it's like, this guy is old, and he's really not adding much to the fucking match. He was booed by the crowd liked New Day, and when Big E came back, and that was a great moment, and he got a good pop, I just don't fucking know. Jon Stewart got booed, and it was like, fuck Jon Stewart, man, we don't need him. Dean Ambrose defeating Dolph Ziggler, retaining the WWE World Championship. Yeah, this was definitely the right move. Dean Ambrose is the made man right now. He's the main guy, and he's a made man, and he's the top guy right now. So, at least on SmackDown, I know. This wasn't even, like, close to being the main event. It probably should have been up there on the card, but what are you going to do? Dean Ambrose defeating Dolph Ziggler. It wasn't that great of a match. I thought it was kind of generic. It really wasn't amazing, but they had to fucking follow up the Styles and Cena. The people were still hyped up about that, so you know what I'm saying? The energy of the crowd was still kind of drained from the fucking Cena and AJ Styles match. Again, the finish was alright, the whole fucking thing from the top rope they fell down, and then Ambrose did the Dirty Deeds finisher, but it still really wasn't a great match. I feel like Dean Ambrose, he hasn't delivered a 5-star classic in my opinion, not since like the Shield days. When he was in the Shield, he delivered great matches. I think he's okay in the ring. He's alright. You know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't a 5-star classic, as they would say, you know. And I'm not even expecting every match to be like an amazing 5-star fucking spot fest or something like that, but even like the storytelling really it just wasn't compelling to me, you know. Like, Dolph Ziggler lost, you know, like, you know, I'm not surprised. Okay, fuck, man, this was a 6-woman tag team match. They went over 11 minutes. We're gonna go through quickly with this one. Nikki Bella came back. She replaced Ava Marie. I love Ava Marie. I think she's great. She's one of my favorite characters right now. She's fucking hilarious. Hot as hell. But she got suspended. So I don't know how long she's gonna be suspended for, and I don't even know, you know, this takes her down a few notches if WWE kind of becomes more cautious with her, like, we might not want to push her too much, you know, like de-push Ava Marie, and maybe this begins her downfall down in the card, and maybe she ends up getting fired eventually. Who knows what's going to happen? I hope that doesn't happen, because I think she's hot as hell. And I heard that maybe it was Adderall that she ended up getting busted for, suspended for, you know, using Adderall or something like that. That's what I read on the internet, so that's just what I read. So Nikki Bella returned, though, took her spot. I think she's the best, you know, individual to replace Ava Marie, because Nikki Bella, hot chick, you know what I mean? She's pretty good in the ring. She's kind of like Eva Marie in some ways, just a better in-ring performer than Eva Marie, but she's got the same like brunette hotness going on. I'm not sure if Eva Marie is a brunette. Is she a brunette? She got the fucking red hair. They feel similar, you know. Does that make sense? They feel similar. Like, if you put Nikki Bella and gave her red hair, she would kind of be like Eva Marie a little bit. Natalya and Alexa Bliss was also teaming with Nikki Bella. They defeated Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Carmella. Love Naomi's entrance, her new fucking theme song, great stuff, the dancing and everything, her outfit. She looks good. I hope that she gets pushed one day. She's very athletic, very good. Poor Naomi, you know. I hope that she fucking gets pushed one day and becomes champion. I do like Naomi. I like all the girls in this fucking match, actually. They were all pretty good. Yeah, Nikki Bella ended up being the star in this one. She was like the leader of the fucking three-woman faction that they had. So I don't know what's gonna happen though with like Nikki Bella. If she's just gonna transition into the fucking women's. I mean, I don't know, because they fucking gutted the women's division. So it probably won't be. You know, she won't be competing for the women's title. Like I think I mentioned earlier, it's gonna be Nikki Bella. Probably gonna be some new women's championship belt. You know what I mean? When they fucking introduced that to SmackDown. I hate the fact that they fucking gutted that division. The women's division of WWE was doing good. It seemed like they were going to a good place, and then they fucking have this brand split, and now it's been gutted. It's been cut in half. The fucking talent. I don't know, man. Finn Balor defeating Seth Rollins in I think the first ever Universal Championship match. So, my God, Finn Balor, he was getting booed, I think, with the fucking the crowd here. Not booed, but like they were chanting, "Balor sucks," if I'm not mistaken. I heard Balor sucks. They were chanting Balor sucks, if I am not mistaken. And they were chanting more for Seth Rollins. They wanted Seth Rollins to win this one, because there's more invested time with Seth Rollins. He's a proven main eventer. We saw him with the Shield, and we're more familiar with Rollins. Balor is good. He's good in the ring, but I feel like Rollins is better on the mic, a little bit better on the mic. He's not amazing. He's good on the mic, you know, but I feel like Rollins is more tenured. He's been there longer. People are more into him than Balor, because Balor just came out of NXT, and he feels more like a brand new character, and they're pushing him right a fucking way. Well, you know, almost like he just came out and, you know, he's getting a title shot right away, and he won it. He fucking won it on his first pay-per-view fucking match. It's ridiculous. He's the Universal Champion. He's a made guy already. Where does he go from here? It's like Paige, when Paige came in and beat goddamn what's her name? The chick, CM Punk's wife. I forget her name already. AJ Lee. You know, whenever they have that first ever match, or you know, not the first match, but like the first title match, and they win it, they win the championship right away. It feels so fucking quick, like rushed. It feels rushed. Where does he go from here? And Balor's not great on the mic, so how is he gonna win over the fucking the haters and the people that don't like him? You know what I mean? To call him some a vanilla midget or an internet darling, some fucking, you know, smart mark favorite. You know what I mean? I like Balor, he's cool, but I don't think he's that entertaining on the mic. We need somebody entertaining on the mic. That's my fucking shit, man. Rock, Austin, those kind of guys that can fucking cut promos. Or, if they're not that great on the mic, they should be fucking like beasts. Somebody like a Goldberg or a Brock Lesnar, you know? Beasts, guys that are like massive dudes that can fucking wreck shop. And Finn Balor, he's a skinny guy, you know, slim guy, 190 pounds or something like that. Not a tall guy. He's a good high flyer, so I feel like he should have been more of a mid-card guy, went after maybe the US Championship or something like that. Establish him there first, and then have him work his way up. And pay his dues. Oh, yeah, man, I feel like they fucking rushed Finn Balor. He's good, though. You know, there's way worse choices out there. You know, if they put the strap on somebody like, you know, like The Miz. You know, I think The Miz is just, him as WWE Champion was a fucking joke, so. Okay, Rusev against Roman Reigns for the US title. This match, I don't even remember this match that well. What the fuck happened in this one? Oh, this was this a beatdown. Roman Reigns had like a brawl with Rusev. It was more like a fucking fight. It was more like, let's have a fucking brawl. This wasn't a match. They didn't even start it. Now I'm remembering, okay. Roman Reigns, he beat down Rusev, and I don't know. I guess it was a little different. And Rusev is still the US champion, so that's kind of cool. But, oh man, I don't know. It felt like a waste of a spot, you know what I mean? A waste of a match at a pay-per-view, but it is what it is. I guess they had to fucking cool things down a little bit because, you know, to get to the main event, you know, give you a little bit of a different presentation. Instead of a real match, let's have a fucking brawl. So, I expect this feud to keep going. I do like Rusev as a heel, though, with Lana. He's great as a US champion. Good for him, you know. He's a good heel. Brock Lesnar against Randy Orton in this fucking singles match. They went just over 11 minutes. It was a TKO. Brock Lesnar beats down Randy Orton. Randy Orton ends up getting a big cut on his forehead. Looks like he was bleeding his ass off. And that looked really, really fucking vicious, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it felt like they tried to make Brock Lesnar look so convincing as a badass here, and made him look so MMA, you know, MMA Lesnar, as opposed to like in-ring professional wrestler Lesnar. They tried to make him look like a UFC monster, and we all know that it's a fucking work. We all know that it's fucking, you know, it's a presentation. So we wanted a good match. We wanted like a back and forth wrestling match where it was like so close and whoa, what an amazing, you know what I'm saying, match. Instead of this fucking stoppage, instead of a TKO. I just have no fucking clue. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to say. This match wasn't that good to me. It was predictable, you know what I mean? The fucking suplexes. I get it. He's over Brock Lesnar. He can do like 1,000 suplexes and he'll still be the most popular guy. I understand that. But I feel like maybe Randy Orton could have had like one sneak win, one sneak victory here with the RKO and really put that over. Because Lesnar is a part-timer. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Lesnar has lost a bit of his edge or his luster. Especially by having these, you know, that fucking steroid shit. The steroid scandal with the UFC. You know, and he failed those. He failed those drug tests. So, the video game is coming out. He's on the cover of the video game, so I understand why he's being pushed the way he is. It just feels like you're gonna destroy Randy Orton. Okay, what do you do? What's next? What do you do next? What's gonna happen next with Brock Lesnar? You know, he's just a fucking monster. And then they were chanting Goldberg at the end. The fans were so impatient. The fans were like, man, fuck this. They were tired. They wanted to see Goldberg. It's probably going to be Goldberg against Lesnar at WrestleMania. It probably will be. It wouldn't surprise me, but I'm just not even excited for that match because fucking Goldberg has got to be in his 50s now, man. He's old as hell. Lesnar isn't a young spring chicken anymore either. You know, it's like, yeah, Goldberg was cool back in his prime in the late 90s. I loved Goldberg back then. Lesnar, still a beast, but he's, you know, he does the same moves over and over again. So it's like two giant... I don't know. It just felt fucking odd to me. I didn't care about it. You know, I didn't fucking care about it. It's like Lesnar beats down Randy Orton. Okay, cool, but now what, you know? Now what? Who's he going to beat down next? You know what I mean? He's going to beat down Finn Balor next. You know, he already beat Dean Ambrose. Your fucking champion, the WWE champion, has lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So, he beats everybody. Shouldn't this guy be the fucking champion then? Shouldn't Brock Lesnar be the champion if he's the baddest guy in the fucking roster? Why isn't he the champion? You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, he's a part-timer. Oh, okay. Well, if he's the toughest guy, give him the fucking belt anyway. I don't fucking know, man. God damn it. Anyway, that's my review. Overall, I gotta give it to Brooklyn Part 2. That was the better event. More enjoyable. Better matches. More investment. SummerSlam was okay at best. It had a few good moments. The match with Styles and Cena was tremendous. Probably the best the whole weekend. But at the same time, I'm still favoring NXT because they take their time a bit more. You know, it's not shoved down our fucking throats. That's it for this episode of Review Space. My voice is going, and I need a fucking drink after this. So I'm probably not going to review any more Raw stuff or WWE stuff in the future. Not in the, in the distant future. I gotta fucking cut it off. See you guys. I'm fucking tired.